Hey everybody, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Back here on October the 27th already, and I have another drawing of a Disney villain for you. Very close to the end of the month, only 3 more of these to go after this. The same disclaimers as always for these drawings apply. You can find links to those in my other videos at the end of this one. And without any further ado, I will jump straight into the villain drawing for today. Today's drawing is Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. Cruella is an excellent villain. One of my favorites. My dad was actually watching some of my videos and had mentioned, hey, where's Cruella de Vil? I really like that one. So I had planned on drawing it already, but since I've now got it done, I hope you like this one, Dad, if you see it. Cruella de Vil was originally written in a novel called The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith, an English writer. She was very similar on the page to how she ended up in the Disney movie. It was adapted pretty well, with some differences. So she was, the story designed for her and the adaptation of the novel was all written and orchestrated by Bill Peet, who I mentioned as a Disney legend in my Madam Mim video. If you haven't seen that one, take a look if you want to know a little bit more about Bill Peet. And he worked with his animating team, particularly Mark Davis, who did all of the hand animations for Cruella, to help design her. Some of the main traits, especially some of the ones you see here, are reflected in Dodie Smith's novel. The black and white hair, the giant fur coat, the dress, those were in the novel. But the Disney team decided to make her very thin, almost skeletal. And they also decided to make her smoking constantly. You can see I've drawn her cigarette here. And also, they exaggerated the size of the fur coat to sort of make it seem much smaller and the coat seem so much more ridiculous. The other major change, and one that really makes the Disney character, they put their own stamp and makes her unique and makes the performance memorable, I think, is that in the novel she was sort of cool and detached. Still wanted to murder puppies and turn them into a coat, but she was sort of cool and detached about the whole thing, very aristocratic about it all. In the Disney movie, they sort of make her a crazed maniac. They make her impulsive, reckless. She's not a schemer at all. She's just very rude and acts on impulse. So that was sort of an interesting choice about that. She was voice acted by a great actress called Betty Lou Gerson. Betty Lou was the voice of Cruella and Miss Birdwell in the movie. She was also the narrator in Disney's Cinderella, and she acted in a whole bunch of other live-action movies as well. She said in an interview that she based her idea of the performance for Cruella off of a Golden Age Hollywood actress called Tallulah Bankhead, who was a very outrageous actress with a husky voice and outrageous mannerisms. And in an interesting turn, or an interesting statement, Dodie Smith said when she wrote the novel, she also sort of had an evil version of Tallulah Bankhead in mind. So they sort of, great minds think alike, I guess. They sort of nailed the exact same thing. But Betty Lou Gerson did a great job of her voice, making her sound crazed and manic, and it's just a really great performance. I like how crazy she gets in the movie, and I like how sort of rude she is to the people and how they end up reacting to that. Some of my favorite scenes in the movie are when she interacts in the beginning with Roger and Anita Radcliffe, the people who own Pongo and Perdita and all of the Dalmatians. She's trying to buy them, and they tell her they're not for sale. Anita knows Cruella from school. That's how they end up knowing each other. But Roger and Anita are musicians, and Cruella mocks them and makes fun of the fact that they're trying to make a living off of songwriting and everything. And Roger just can't stomach her at all. And there's a funny bit where he kind of goes up into the attic and starts writing the Cruella de Vil song. And he's playing the trombone into the floor and singing the great song that was written for the movie Cruella de Vil, and it's just a really funny sequence that I like a lot. Um, so Betty Lou Gerson was great in that scene, and really great as the character. Another great movie she was in that's sort of a fun little spooky treat for Halloween is the 1958 version of The Fly with Vincent Price. She plays a nurse in that movie, and that's kind of a fun one to check out for the Halloween season if you've never seen it before. Um, she's been played in plenty of live action movies and in TV shows. Once Upon a Time, The Descendants. She's had plenty of incarnations. They made a live action movie starring Glenn Close. They're making another live action movie coming up soon, starring Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil. And I'm sure will just be more and more. She's a really popular Disney villain. So popular, in fact, that she was the inspiration for two other Disney villains that I've already talked about and have maybe already mentioned this in my other videos. But she was the inspiration for Dr. Facilier and also Madame Medusa. In fact, as I mentioned in the Madame Medusa video, they were originally going to go with Cruella as the villain in that movie. In fact, there's some really interesting concept art that I found on the internet of them originally coming up with the design for that she was going to go down to a swamp and start skinning crocodiles instead of dogs and use those. In fact, I'll show you some of the concept art right now. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting, really cool to look at, and I hope you really enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Is Cruella de Vil one of your favorites? Give me some comments below and let me know about that. Subscribe, tell your friends, hit the bell, all that good YouTube stuff. And I will be back again with another Disney villain drawing tomorrow. Before I let you go this time, I've got an extra special treat at the end of this one. I have these cool little light-up Halloween Disney villain votives next to me, and I'm going to switch out the lights here and show you what they look like. So as I give you a tour of these Halloween votives, I just want to say thanks as always for watching these videos. Thanks for sticking with me all the way through until Halloween. I hope this is a nice treat for you to see these. I thought they were really fun when I picked them up. And until next time, good night.